So, we will start with question number 1. With reference to intertropical convergence zone, consider the following statements. In the first statement, is there any loophole? Low pressure, actually intertropical convergence zone. From the word meaning itself, we can derive the answer. Intertropical means that is lying in between the tropics, almost close to the equatorial area. And convergence means what? Convergence of winds. For wind to converge, there must be a low pressure. Okay. So that's why first statement can be eliminated. Then we know that during like the summer season in the northern hemisphere, ITCZ will be shifting to the northern side, right? And during the summer in southern hemisphere, ITCZ will be moving south, right? Then it moves north and south with the apparent movement of the sun. Obviously, that is a concept related to ITCZ. So 2 and 3. Then village level entrepreneur. How many of you got this question correct? Okay. What happened to Malu? എന്താ ചെയ്യാതിരുന്നത് അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത്? സി ഇതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് ഈ വില്ലേജ് ലെവൽ ഓൺട്രപ്രനർ നമ്മളുടെ നാട്ടിൽ like when we see Akshaya centers, okay, Akshaya centers means normally Akshaya centers are set up by individuals. Okay, they have to take a room for rent, they have to set up the computer, internet connectivity, everything, okay, and they will be getting a commission for making the service from the government. These people are called village level entrepreneurs, those people who are running common service centers or Akshaya centers. In Kerala it is called Akshaya center, in Tamil Nadu and other states it's called by different names, okay. So that's why these persons are like, if any person is willing to do a service in between like government and the citizens by acting as an intermediary to provide government services, he is called a village level entrepreneur. So it is related to common service centers. Then third statement, third question, which among the following mechanism explains transfer of heat energy from Earth's surface to lower atmosphere? They are asking for transfer of heat energy. In convection, what is happening? Wind is rising. Okay, it's not the energy is transferred, the entire wind is rising. Even in advection also, wind is moving in the horizontal direction. It's not transfer of energy. Transfer of energy means from one body to another body which is in touch. So that's why it is conduction. Then fourth question, with reference to carbon cycle, like if you are aware of the terms like sedimentary cycle, gaseous cycle, etc., this statement can be eliminated. For example, sedimentary cycle means something related to rocks, soil, etc. Okay. Normally it's not carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide means it is through our respiration, through the photosynthesis process. It's related to gas. Okay, gaseous cycle of carbon dioxide. So that's why one is wrong. Then over the long term, carbon cycle helps in keeping the Earth's atmosphere relatively stable. It's a harmless statement. Okay. So second statement only. Anybody got that question wrong? Why? Okay, actually you should be aware of some basic cycles, like sedimentary cycle is associated with which gas? Phosphorus. It's actually related to phosphorus. Okay, it's related to the transfer of phosphorus as a mineral between the organisms which decay, and then it will be transferred to the rocks, then plants will be absorbing that thing. So it's related to that mineral transfer of that phosphorus, that is related to the sedimentary cycle. It's not in the gaseous form, but in the mineral form, phosphor is transferred from plants and dead and decayed organisms to the soil. Okay, so that's why. So you should read about the cycles, different cycles that are operating in the nature. Then, okay, in the first statement, was there any, like, what was the difficulty? The carbon cycle is considered to be a sedimentary cycle as it includes the formation of coal and petroleum. See, when you get such a statement, actually this is a UPSC standard statement, because in UPSC normally there is an elimination technique called making it more obvious. For example, if they want to make us tempt, they will add an unwanted explanation. Okay, everybody knows that carbon dioxide is related to coal, petroleum, fossils, etc. So if you don't know that it is not the sedimentary cycle, definitely we will fall in that trap. So actually they could have completed the statement by stopping at sedimentary cycle. The carbon cycle is considered to be a sedimentary cycle. They could have ideally stopped over there, but to give it an additional explanation, that means it is making it more obvious that you should feel that this, confidently you should feel that this is a like correct statement. So for that actually there will be when I am taking the elimination for UPSC papers, I will show you that in most of the questions there will be, if that statement is wrong, you can observe that they would have added an unwanted explanation. If I am not wrong, there was a question about phosphatic fertilizers, and they have added an unwanted. I'll show you that statement. Then I'll discuss that. So, like when you are feeling doubtful about a statement, just observe that whether that statement is complete by mentioning only the first half of the statement. Okay. If they wanted to ask a question about carbon cycle, and if they wanted to ask whether it's a gaseous cycle or sedimentary cycle, first half of the question was sufficient. Okay, unwanted explanation means for tempting us. So that's why first statement is wrong then. So 2 is the answer. Fifth question, with reference to food chains in ecosystems, food chains illustrate the order in which a chain of organisms feed upon one another. Okay, it's the basic meaning of food chain. Then food chains are found within the population of a species, population of a single species. No, it's between the population of different species. Okay, so one organism, see, like a lion will not eat another lion. Okay, lion will be eating another animal. Okay, so it's between the population of different species. So 2 is obviously wrong. So that means like by eliminating 2 we can reach the answer, because 1 is anyway correct, so none cannot be the answer. So 2, if 2 is wrong means 3 also should be wrong. Then for verifying it additionally, we need to read that a food chain illustrates the number of each organism which are eaten by others. Is it illustrating the number? It's just mentioning the order in the trophic level, where it stands. So A. 6, about literature of Vedic age. Nirukta is the collection of Vedic words. Are you familiar with the such terms? No, actually we'll study certain terms related to art and culture kind of thing. So Nirukta is a collection of words. Actually it's like the ancient Nikhandu. Okay, there was a book written by Kashyapa called Nikhandu. Okay, so it is based on this thing is like made. So Nirukta is a collection of Vedic words. Then Pradishakya is the oldest text on phonetics, so how to pronounce these Vedic Sanskrit terms kind of thing. So Pradishakya is related to that, it's related to phonetics. We will study additional terms related to art and culture kind of thing, it's important. Then during Vedic age, the study of grammar was not done in India. It's possible, right? Study, even if you don't know, that's a possible statement. So study of grammar was not done in India, that's an absolutely wrong statement. So have you heard about a book written by Panini? Do you remember the name? Ashtadhyayi. Okay, so it's a first grammar book, okay, in the world actually. So it was done during that age. So we cannot say that this is not done in India. That's an absolutely wrong statement. So by eliminating 3, you can eliminate C and D. Then actually for understanding the statement, I mean whether it is 2 or 1 and 2 only, you should know about Nirukta. We will study such terms. So 1 and 2 only is the answer. 7. Which of the following statement highlights the social differences among the people of Indus Valley civilization? How many of you got that question wrong? Why? Luxury items എല്ലാ സെറ്റിൽമെൻറ്റിലും കാണുമെന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ? ലൈക്ക് എപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ കോമൺ സെൻസിൽ ആലോചിക്കുമ്പോഴും ഇപ്പോൾ എല്ലായിടത്തും കാണാൻ പറ്റുമോ? ഈവൻ നൗ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് പോസിബിൾ. ലൈക്ക് to find luxury items in all, like can you find Benz cars in all households? No. Luxury items means many things are not luxury now, like AC, TVs, these are not luxury now, it's a necessity. But luxury items means those were in possession by rich households of those times. So it's not found in all towns and settlements, basically in Mohenjo-daro kind of rich cities that will be found. So it cannot be found in all statements. So you should eliminate that thing. Normally in UPSC also you can see such statements. In such statements, like nobody is knowing whether it is found in all statements or not, but if there is a wide possibility, by just thinking in common sense, if it's a possibility, if there is a wide possibility of luxury goods being not found in all settlements. For example, if we are thinking by our common sense, there will be rich and poor in almost all societies. So it's not possible to find such things. So you should think in simple way. You should think in UPSC exam. Thinking simply is a key, because at times we will be overthinking. There is a question even in this question paper. It is asking about inflation. Decreasing GST will be reducing inflation. Such kind of one statement is there. Okay. How can decreasing GDP reduce inflation? GST means it will decrease the price. Okay. Inflation means price increase. If you are decreasing the indirect tax means price is decreasing. But many people interpreted it by overthinking. Like they thought in like this way, that if GST is decreasing, that will be increasing the money in people's hands. So that's why they will be demanding more products. So there will be inflation. No need of thinking that way. Just we have to stop our thinking at the point where we receive the answer. Inflation means increase in price. Decrease in indirect tax means decrease in price. So that's why that's the end of inflation. So that's why. Do not overthink. So 7a. Then they are asking a question about a national park. So every time I am telling you that national park kind of question, we should repeatedly look at the maps. But the problem is that in many of the Google images, the maps are crowded with the national parks. Okay. In one state, like we cannot precisely find the location. So solution is that you can search for national park in each of the states separately. Okay. So they will be showing individual maps of the states. Just save it in a PowerPoint or in a folder. Okay. Then see that repeatedly so that you can see the location. For example, if it is Neora Valley National Park, it is in border between West Bengal and which country? It's close to Bhutan. Okay. We know that West Bengal is having a small border with Bhutan as well. So it is in that area. Even UPSC have asked this question. Okay. So knowing this location precisely only, but for example, if you know that Neora Valley National Park is in West Bengal, even that information is not sufficient at times, because this is simply a map. So it is not a like hi-fi question kind of thing. UPSC expects every person to know the location of important national park, because it's just an image. Through just an image, by looking it several times, you can have that photographic memory. So UPSC is expecting such a location specific questions. So that's why they are asking about, okay, the northern boundary of the park is contiguous to the international border of Bhutan. Every time UPSC is asking this question by making it a favorite area, because the national parks which are close to another country, it's every time it's being asked. Even national park in the border between states, the national park which is in the border of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, okay, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, then Jharkhand, Bihar, and Bihar and Nepal. Okay, these kind of areas are important, where border of these national parks matters. So it is, they are asking about Manas National Park. They are telling that, okay, it is in the foothills of eastern Himalayas. Obviously, we can see the Himalayas over the Assam area. So it is in the foothill of Assam. In the Himalayas. Then we can see the species Royal Bengal tiger. Actually, these species are found in almost all national parks over there. It also harbors endemic species like pygmy hog. But the problem is that in this the options are very close. So in UPSC, if they are asking, they will be giving one more additional statement. For example, in Assam area there are several national parks which are lying in the border of Assam, Bhutan. Okay, but specifically if UPSC is asking, they will be like without failing they will be giving an additional statement which makes a distinguished which distinguishes this Manas National Park from other national park. They will be giving a specific feature of Manas National Park. Okay, actually such a statement is missing in this question, that's why it is making it more difficult. How many of you have skipped this question? How many of you got it correct? Fine. Actually in UPSC you don't worry, when you study the features of important national park, if you have seen the features of, distinguishing feature, there may be an additional like animal or a species which is endangered and found in only that area. For example, Gir lion. Where is Gir lion found? In Gujarat. Which national park? Gir. Okay, so such a, actually it is found only in that area. So such a distinguishing feature will be like given by UPC, and we should be thorough about the distinguished feature or the feature which distinguishes one national park from other. Maybe it is the area where grasslands are found, maybe it is in close to maybe an international border kind of thing. Some distinguishing feature will be there. You should be aware of that thing. Then 9, about tropical cyclone and temperate cyclone. You should know that frontal cyclones are also called temperate cyclone, anticyclone kind of thing. So, tropical cyclone require a pre-existing low level cyclonic circulation, true or false? Actually, how the tropical cyclones are originating? Okay, there will be in the tropics area, it is receiving continuously like insolation, I mean continuous sunlight is being received in the equatorial area and tropical area. So, the oceans will be hot always, maybe in close to around 26 to 30 degree temperature will be there always. So, when the ocean is too hot, the air which is in touch with the ocean will be also heated. Hot air rises. When the hot air is rising, it will be captured by Coriolis force. So, it will be rotating it. As soon as it starts rising up, it will be caught by Coriolis force. So, this creates a pre-existing low level cyclonic circulation. Okay. But later it will be becoming more intense with the arrival of more moisture. Okay. So, normally this kind of a like low level cyclonic circulation is always there in the like cyclonic area, but at times only this will be becoming more intense. That will be resulting in the cyclone, I mean sorry, cyclone. During the monsoon time etc., when we are having the summer season, we know that in June, July time the sun will be close to Tropic of Cancer. Okay. At that time the ocean will be more intensely hot. So, that is why it results in more rising up of like air, and that will be captured by Coriolis force, and that will be making it more intense. Even other time also, even in the times which are not monsoons, even that time also this low level cyclonic circulation is there. But during monsoon time, when sun is near to ocean, I mean sun is near to the Tropic of Cancer, this hotness of the ocean intensifies and more air will be rising. That will be intensifying the cyclone. So, the pre-existing low level cyclonic circulation should be there. That is a feature of or the requirement of formation of a tropical cyclone. There are 2-3 features. One is a pre-existing low level rotating air or low level cyclonic circulation. Then second thing is 26 to 27 degrees Celsius temperature of the ocean kind of thing, and the presence of Coriolis force. Even in the equatorial area, this condition exists, that 26 to 27 degrees Celsius temperature, 30 degrees Celsius temperature is there, but Coriolis force is absent in equator. That is why wind should be rotated for the formation of cyclone, but this force is absent in equator. What is the intensity of Coriolis force in equator and in poles? Coriolis force is maximum where? At poles, and it is 0 in equator. So, that is why tropical cyclones are absent in equatorial area. I'll summarize like many of the important concepts of geography in the upcoming sessions, do not worry. Then they are talking about frontal cyclones. So, frontal cyclones are always accompanied by air divergence above sea level. Actually, it is not the case. How the frontal cyclones or anticyclones are formed? What is the reason? Meeting point of cold and warm. Okay, cold and warm air. That is the precondition for that. Like the cold air from the polar area and the warm air from the tropical area will be meeting at the mid latitudes, and that will be resulting in the formation of frontal cyclone. It is not always accompanied by air divergence above the sea level. That is not correct. Then frontal cyclones originate on land, while tropical cyclone can originate in the sea only. Is that statement correct? Why? They are not telling that frontal cyclones cannot originate on sea. They are not telling that. They are just telling that you only told that frontal cyclones can originate on land and sea, right? Here they have given that frontal cyclone can originate on land. What is the wrong in that statement? Actually, our answer key was wrong here. Okay, frontal cyclone can originate on land and sea means it can originate on land. That statement is correct. Okay, if they have given that frontal cyclones originate on land only, then it would be false. Okay, it can originate on land and sea means they have given land. That is correct. If land only means, then it will be wrong. Okay, so actually we will be cancelling that question. Okay, so it should be one more. If it is to be not correct, we should have given frontal cyclones originate on land only, then only it will be wrong. And tropical cyclones can originate in sea only, that is correct. So that's about 9. Then 10. Equatorial vegetation comprises a multitude of evergreen trees such as mahogany, ebony, dyewoods. Anything wrong in that statement? No, that is correct. Many parts of the tropical rainforest have been cleared for lumbering and shifting cultivation. True. Rainforests are absent in temperate region. No, there can be temperate rainforest, okay. That can be pine forest or even other trees can be there. No need to tell that temperate regions rainforests are absent, because temperate regions are also close to tropical region. We cannot say that like if they are giving that in the tundra regions rainforest is absent, we can approve, because there is a like it is a completely snow covered area. The climate biodiversity extremely different, but temperate regions are close to tropical region. That means it is least possible that it is absent in temperate region, okay. So that's the logic you should apply there. How many of you got that question correct? You got that wrong. Why? No, actually rainforest can be present like even in mid latitudes and tropical region. In such questions, if you are feeling doubtful, don't think about the things that we studied. Just apply plain logics like, okay, these are about trees and there is no extreme difference between tropical and temperate climate, okay. It's about a single latitude difference, 30 degree, okay, above 30 degree and below 30 degree. If they, then at that time you have to think, they are not asking about the extreme polar regions or tundra kind of region. They are asking about a latitude which is close to our area, and there can be like maybe like a few patch of rainforest in some country, maybe because it is completely temperate latitude means not it just above India or not, it's completely circling the globe. So in one or other country where in the border line between tropical and temperate area there can be a patch of rainforest. May not be toward the poleward side, toward the tropical side in the temperate area there can be formation of this thing. So completely absent means that is a extreme statement. So you should be mindful, because UPSC they are making questions simple in this way. This is why we are able to attempt 96 questions. We will be knowing only 30 questions, but we will be attempting 96 by approving such statements. We should be able to find, okay, are they is it a possible statement or is an extreme statement kind of thing. You should be mindful. So 1 and 2 only. 11. Which of the following are responsible causes for coral decline? How many of you got this question wrong? Why? Second statement, see, we have to take some calculated risk. They are asking about a particular species of fish. Actually, this fish will be eating the coral reef, that's a food, but even like normally we may not be knowing about that fact, whether it is eating that corals or not, but this fish is completely unknown to us, okay. So there is something specialty about that fish, that might be, it would be in news. So there might be some positive or negative effects of that fish, that's possible, right? That's why it is in news, and it will be close to coral reefs, that's why it is asked in the coral reef question. In such question, we have to take calculated risk, because we know about first statement and there is a possibility for third statement becoming true, okay. Only the risk we have to take in the second statement. In that actually either you have two choices. One, you should think in a way that this fish will be benefiting coral reefs, okay. Actually if such question is asked, definitely there will be a relation between coral reefs and such a fish, okay. If it is not connected in any way, they will not connect coral reefs and this fish, that is for sure, okay. But if there is such connection, there can be two connection, either it will be benefiting coral reefs, okay. Then second thing is it can damage the coral reef. There is least possibility that a fish will be benefiting this particular coral reef, but maybe that is possible, it is nature, anything is possible, but there can be some fishes like in National Geographic etc. If you observe, there are some fishes with the head portion of that fish that will be too heavy, okay, it will be big, and what they will be doing is they will be hitting the coral reefs like this and it will be damaging. That is not this fish, there are some fishes like that, okay. and this fish that will be in crores of numbers. These are small fishes, and that will be colonizing that coral reefs, and that will be eating the calcareous skeleton of that like fish. Even if you don't know, just think in this way. We have not heard about a particular category of fish that will be benefiting the coral reefs. And now the context of the question, by seeing the nature of the statements, they are asking about things that are damaging the coral reefs. Okay. So when the context is set in such a way that they have given many things, many situations which will be damaging coral reef, and so the context favors this fish damaging the coral reef. By observing the first and third statement, it is true that okay, there will be possibility of this fish damaging the coral reef. Second thing is that we have not heard anything about a fish benefiting the coral reef. So that's why in that logic we have to move. So all statements are correct. Then 12. Which among the following is or are advantage of floating solar power plants? So these are the kind of questions which UPSC normally ask. We will not be knowing the exact answer, but through some logics we have to think and make the question correct. First statement, higher efficiency of panels in comparison to land based solar plants. If there is least efficiency, why we should go for implementing a solar panel in a river? Okay, so there must be some efficiency, that's why we are preferring that. Then conservation of water, third statement. If it is damaging the water, we will not, like environmentalists will not approve this thing. Okay, there must be least damage or there must be some positive effects. Actually, if the river area is completely covered or in majority of the area it is covered by solar panel, that will reduce the evaporation rate. Okay, because this is the era of global warming, and many of the rivers in African area and other countries are getting depleted due to extreme heat of the atmosphere. So if we can cover the solar panel over the rivers, that will be reducing the evaporation rate. So this is how it is conserving the water. No, actually we are not, like there will be gaps where sunlight can be penetrating. Like it's not like we are not leaving gaps in between. Okay, definitely, and we are not covering the entire area, entire stretch of river. It will be only in some patches. So when floating solar power plants, offshore wind energy plants, when these are in use, you should actually search for the Google images. Okay, at that time we can see, okay, the connection. For example, if it is an offshore wind panel, it is very costly to set up over sea rather than it is getting implemented in the land, because we have to lay undersea cables, we have to erect it in a solid foundation under the sea, because otherwise it will be damaged by the wave action. So the cost is high. The foundation of that wind panel, I mean windmill, that should be like completely strong, and we should dig the ocean area in complete and we should take some precautions, like it should not damage the ocean environment, and we have to dig deep, maybe in 1 or 2 kilometers we have to dig. That much cost will be there for drilling the ocean and for erecting concrete piles, etc. So that will be anything, if you are going to do in the ocean area, that will be costly. So that's why this is also costly. The installation cost is high. When we are seeing these kind of questions or these kind of news in the current affairs, we should have some curiosity of how they are going to implement this. Okay, it's not easy to implement something beyond our reach. Just like in the high seas, etc., the surroundings or the environment there is completely different from land. It is completely susceptible to attacks by whales, kind of large fish, and it is completely susceptible to tsunamis and high waves. Every day there are huge waves happening in the sea. It's not like in land. Even in land, if cyclone kind of thing is happening, that will be only during the monsoons or like 1 or 2 months of an year. But it is completely prone to these kind of attacks in the ocean area. So anything which we are doing in the area that is beyond our reach, that will be costly. So that's why second statement is actually wrong. So that's why whenever I am teaching, I used to give more importance to images. So visually you can recollect, okay, what is the thing that is happening. When we are hearing that floating solar power plants, we should be able to visualize that we are not covering the entire kilometer of the river with solar panel. Only in some area we will be having this thing. In that area the evaporation can be minimized. So 1 and 3. 13. With respect to Aadhaar enabled payment system. First statement they are telling that, okay, you can use the Aadhaar as your identity for making the banking transaction. Anything wrong in that? Okay, that is correct. Actually, second statement they are telling that UIDAI. UIDAI is related to what? UIDAI is related to Aadhaar. They have set up the Aadhaar, okay, and everything related to Aadhaar is related to UIDAI. They have no connection with banking or online payments. That is always done by NPCI. NPCI is, you don't have a question paper? Question paper. So UIDAI is connected to Aadhaar but not connected to Aadhaar enabled payment system. So NPCI will be setting up the Aadhaar enabled payment system. So 1 is correct, 2 is wrong. 14. Which among the following best describes the term environmental determinism? So how many of you have reached the answer through the word environmental determinism? You got in that way by like knowing the word meaning. So Advaithakku endanu pattiyathu? ആ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ അറ്റംപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തോ? ഏത് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് എടുത്ത്? എന്തായിരുന്നു ലോജിക് സി എടുക്കാൻ കാര്യം? സിയിൽ എന്താ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത്? ഇറ്റ് റെഫേഴ്സ് ടു എ കാൽക്കുലേറ്റഡ് ഇല്ലുസ്ട്രേറ്റീവ് കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് വിച്ച് ഡിറ്റർമൈൻസ് ഹൗ ഹ്യൂമാനിറ്റീസ് റിസോഴ്സ് കൺസംഷൻ എക്സീഡ്സ് എർത്ത് കപ്പാസിറ്റി ടു റീജനറേറ്റ് ദോസ് റിസോഴ്സസ്. ഓക്കെ, അത് എന്തുമായിട്ട് റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളതാണ് സി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്? അവർ പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ് റെഫേഴ്സ് ടു എ കാൽക്കുലേറ്റഡ് ഇല്ലുസ്ട്രേറ്റീവ് കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് വിച്ച് ഡിറ്റർമൈൻസ് ഹൗ ഹ്യൂമാനിറ്റീസ് റിസോഴ്സ് കൺസംഷൻ exceeds earth capacity to regenerate those resources. That means we are depleting the resource by increasing our consumption. Okay, it is related to one particular environmental term, carbon footprint. Then again there are other terms. Have you heard about earth overshoot capacity kind of terms? So that is the definition of that. We are exceedingly consuming the earth's resources beyond the limit in which earth can regenerate it. So that is related to earth overshoot capacity. So, and what is the logic in this question to eliminate the statements? First statement, if you read, it is a type of interaction between human and environment where nature has substantial impact to determine. In the question there is, the question word says about environment determining something. In the statement itself they are clearly telling that nature has substantial impact to determine this something. Okay, so even if you don't know anything about this thing, you have to read the question word. Environment is determining something. In the first statement they are telling that, okay, nature is determining something. It is just like in the area of Sikkim, when we are where we are emphasizing on organic farming. It is because of the nature of that topography we are able to easily do that. Organic farming in the mountainous area, that is easy to do over there. So environment is making some influence on the nature of human livelihood, human settlements in that area. The kind of houses we make in the mountainous regions will be different than the houses we are making in the plain areas. The kind of roofs in the Kerala's houses will be sloping because we are having monsoon. So rainwater should be flowing from the roof to the soil. It should not stagnate in the terraced kind of building. I mean, if you are having a terraced roof, there is high possibility that if you are not putting outlet pipes and all, water will be stagnating over there. But in the olden area, when these concrete structures are not there, they were familiar with the sloping roof. Okay, ഓടൊക്കെ വെച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന. So environment is the factor which determine the human culture over there. Okay, our culture are related to our livelihoods, our housing, our settlements, everything. So environment, climate, nature, etc. has an impact over that. So in UPSC we will be having many questions like this, where by just knowing the word meaning of the statement, I mean of the question, and by just reading the statements in the like options, we will be able to reach the answer. Actually, this is the way we should do. Otherwise, we always think about the thing that we studied. Many of the times we will not be studied, like, but we will be able to eliminate in this way. So make connection between the question word and the statements. Then 15. Millets score over rice and wheat in terms of amino acid profile. See, even if you are not from science background, they are telling about, you just read the nature of that statement. Millets have something positive over rice and wheat. Okay. So that's why we are consuming millet. So amino acid is related to proteins, vitamins kind of thing. So amino acid is definitely the building block of proteins. So millet is having more proteins over rice and wheat. I am not asking you to study about the scientific connection between or the chemistry between amino acid and proteins. Just know the context in which they are asking. Millet is having some advantage over rice and wheat in terms of some chemical compositions of that. Okay, that's why we are increasingly asking people to consume millets. So first statement is definitely correct. So that means you are eliminating 2 and 3, B and C you are eliminating. Then millets are hardier and drought resistant crops. That's why we are advocating for the cultivation of millets. So anyway 1 and 2 are correct. Then 3, kneading duff and rolling roti is much easier with wheat than millet flour. How many of you had the doshas made of ragi? Okay. So those who consume millets, they can know that actually it is not that soft or like not easy to make rotis with chapati and all. Actually the thing like that may be related to the way we cook that thing, but if you want to make a chapati kind of a roti with millet and with like the wheat flour, this will be easy with wheat flour. Okay, you ask your mother. I think you have not entered kitchen. ശ്രമിച്ചു നോക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ചപ്പാത്തി മില്ലറ്റ് ഏത് ഫ്ലോറാണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്തത്? ഏത് മില്ലറ്റാണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്? റാഗിയാണോ? അതിൽ ഞാൻ ആക്ച്വലി കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, ലൈക്ക് നമ്മളുടെയൊക്കെ കിച്ചണിൽ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതും കൊണ്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇതെന്താണെന്നറിയോ, ഈ വീറ്റിൽ ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു പ്രോട്ടീൻ ഉണ്ട്, ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ. ഈ ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ്റെ പ്രത്യേകത, വെൻ വാട്ടർ ഈസ് ആഡഡ് ടു ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ ഇറ്റ് സ്വെൽസ് ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് മേക്സ് ദ ഫ്ലോർ സോഫ്റ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, നോർമലി അങ്ങനെയാണ് ആക്ച്വലി. മേ ബി ഇതിപ്പോൾ ഓരോരുത്തർ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നതിൽ മേ ബി വെള്ളം കൂടുതൽ ചേർത്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കുറച്ച് സോഫ്റ്റ് ആവും. അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറേ സംഭവങ്ങളുണ്ട്. ഈ മില്ലറ്റിൽ കൂടുതൽ വെള്ളം ഒഴിച്ചാൽ ലൈക്ക് ഓരോ അമ്മമാർക്ക് ഓരോ ടെക്നിക്സ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. പക്ഷേ ഇൻ ജനറൽ ഈ ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന വെള്ളം ആഡ് ചെയ്താൽ സ്വെല്ല് ചെയ്ത് സോഫ്റ്റൻ ആവുന്ന പ്രോട്ടീൻ മില്ലറ്റിൽ ആബ്സെൻ്റ് ആണ്. ഓക്കെ, അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇൻ ജനറൽ മേ ബി നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ചെറിയ വേറെ ടെക്നിക്സ് ഒക്കെ കൊണ്ട് കൂടുതൽ സോഫ്റ്റ് ആവുന്നുണ്ടായിരിക്കാം. പക്ഷേ അതിൻ്റെ സയൻറ്റിഫിക് റീസൺ ഇങ്ങനെയാണ്, ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ ഇതിനകത്തില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അഡീഷണലി അത് സോഫ്റ്റ് ആവും. കാരണം ഗ്ലൂട്ടൻ പ്രോട്ടീൻസ് അതിങ്ങനെ സ്വെല്ല് ചെയ്ത് വരും. അപ്പോൾ അത് കുഴയ്ക്കാൻ എളുപ്പം കിട്ടും. ആക്ച്വലി തേർഡ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻറ്റ് അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് കറക്റ്റ് ആവുന്നത്. നീഡിങ് ഡഫ് ആൻഡ് റോളിംഗ് റോട്ടീസ് മച്ച് ഈസിയർ വിത്ത് വീറ്റ് ദാൻ മില്ലറ്റ് ഫ്ലോർ. ഇനി പോകുമ്പോൾ ഒന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്തും കൂടെ നോക്കിക്കോ, അമ്മ വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ടെക്നിക്സ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ കൂടുതൽ സോഫ്റ്റ് ആക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടെന്ന്. 16. വിച്ച് ഓഫ് ദ ഫോളോയിങ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻറ്റ്സ് ഈസ് ഓർ ആർ നോട്ട് കറക്റ്റ് വിത്ത് റെഫറൻസ് ടു Wood's Dispatch of 1854? How many of you got that question wrong? എന്തായിരുന്നു പ്രശ്നം? ഏതെടുത്ത്? Okay, it laid down that education imparted in government institutions should be secular. It's like നമ്മൾ ഈ ഇനിഷ്യൽ പീരീഡിൽ നമ്മൾ 1833 ഒരു എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യം ഇറക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു ലോർഡ് വില്യം ബെൻഡിക്കിൻ്റെ കാലത്ത്. എന്താണത്? മെക്കോളേസ് മിനിറ്റ്സ് ഇറക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു അല്ലേ? ഈ മെക്കോളേസ് മിനിറ്റ്സിനിൽ നിന്നും കുറേ അഡ്വാൻസ്മെൻറ്റ് വന്നു വുഡ്സ് ഡെസ്പാച്ചിൻ്റെ സമയത്ത്. ഓക്കെ, വുഡ്സ് ഡെസ്പാച്ച് വന്ന സമയത്ത് അവർക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി, കാരണം ഈ 1833ക്കും 1854നും ഒക്കെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഒരുപാട് ലൈക്ക് വയലൻസും റിവോൾട്സും ഇവിടെ നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ഇവർക്ക് ഈ സമയമാകുമ്പോൾ മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ട് എന്താണ് ലൈക്ക് ഇവരുടെ ഈ, അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ ഉദാഹരണം പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ സതി അബോളിഷ് ചെയ്യുന്ന 1829-ലാണ്. ഓക്കെ, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ 1856 ഒക്കെ ആകുമ്പോൾ വിഡോ റീമാരേജ് ലീഗലൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു സമയത്ത് ഈ വില്യം ബെൻറ്റിക്കിന് ശേഷം വന്ന ആൾക്ക് 1833 ഒക്കെ ശേഷം 1850s ഒക്കെ ആകുന്ന സമയത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഇൻക്രീസിംഗ്ലി കുറേ പോസിറ്റീവ് സ്റ്റെപ്സ് ആണ് എടുക്കുന്നത് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനിൽ. ഓക്കെ, സോ ദേ ആർ ടെല്ലിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് ഓക്കെ ഇൻ ദ വില്ലേജ് ലെവൽ ദർ മസ്റ്റ് ബി ടീച്ചിങ് in vernacular languages. In the high school there must be teaching in both vernacular and English. It should be bilingual kind of thing. And in the college level and university level it should be completely English kind of thing. And there must be education for women, there must be educational department in every provinces, there must be a college in every district, there must be 3 universities in Madras, Bombay and Calcutta. Okay, എന്നിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ 1861 അത് സെറ്റപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് പോസിറ്റീവ് സ്റ്റെപ്സ് ആണ് എടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്പം the kind of logic or background context that we need to answer this question is about the knowledge of the basic situation that was prevailing in India during that time. Okay, നമുക്ക് എക്സാക്ട്ലി അറിയണമെന്നില്ല, പക്ഷേ ആ ഒരു സമയത്ത് വന്നിട്ടുള്ള ആ ഒരു ട്രാൻസ്ഫോർമേഷൻ നമ്മൾ അറിയണം. ഉദാഹരണം പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ we should know about the nature of different governor generals. Some people were completely against India. Okay, but during some people there were many reforms taken. For example, Lord Lytton, he was completely against India and he made the life of people difficult through different harsh methods by imposing huge like restrictions on press and many other things. Then came Lord Ripon, he was in favor of India. Then came before these people came Lord Wellesley and all, who came with subsidiary alliance. Then came Lord Dalhousie during 1856. That time he came with which kind of policy? Doctrine of lapse kind of thing. So these people were keen to attach the Indian provinces with British, and there were some people who took some positive steps. From William Bentinck we can see that there were many positive steps towards education. So there are some governor generals which are associated with some reforms. Lord William Bentinck is related to some social reforms like Sadi kind of thing, and after that then came Lord Dalhousie's period. During that time this Wood's Dispatch kind of thing, educational reform kind of thing came, and setting up of telegraph, train, okay, railway tracks kind of thing. So that kind of thing. Some governor generals are attached with press freedom like Lord Ripon. Then some are associated with decentralization, okay, about Panchayat Raj kind of thing, Lord Mayo, Lord Ripon kind of thing. Okay, these people gave additional emphasis for decentralization. They told that there must be a financial freedom at the village level, Panchayat level kind of thing. So then only we can have a better administration, because British are limited in number. Okay. So if Indians are also attached with the decentralized administration at the Panchayat level by having some educated people, they are not telling that we must be like allowing Indian people to conduct election and all, but we will be nominating some educated Indians at the Panchayat level to do the decentralized administration kind of thing, to make the business of British easy. So this kind of context, basic context and basic nature of governor generals we should know. Then only you can, we can eliminate some statements because of that. So actually if you know that they made every positive reforms in education, we can eliminate C. They are telling that it did not mention about female and vocational education, and by repeatedly doing question papers we should be able to know by just seeing the statement, okay, this must not be true. Okay, it did not mention about female and vocational education. Okay, so we should know, like by repeatedly doing question papers we will come to know that it did not mention about female and vocational education. By reading all other statements we can see that most of the things were positive. If you take B and D, it made English as a medium of instruction in higher studies. Okay, only in higher studies, not at the village level. Okay, that's a positive step. Then setting up of education department in every province. Okay, that is also true. B and D, only one statement can be not correct. Okay, but both B and D are positive. Then when you look at A, it laid down that education imparted in government institutions must be secular. So both A, B and D, all 3 statements are positive. Okay, if 3 statements are positive and one statement if you are finding it extremely negative, like not mentioning about female and vocational education, by knowing the nature of other 3 statements, this is something odd. Okay, otherwise there must be combination, 2 and 3 are wrong, 1, 2, 3 are wrong. Okay, here only one can be wrong, but if you see, C is the odd one out, all others are positive. That's why this is the answer. Even if you don't know about the context itself, since it is a not correct and only one statement can be not correct, you should go for the odd one out. Only C is having a negative context. All others are positive. So C is the answer. 17. About positive growth of population. Okay. When birth rate is more than death rate, there will be increase in population. Then, when people from other countries migrate permanently to our region, there will be increase in population. When birth rate is equivalent to death rate, we cannot say that actually there will be increase in population. Okay, so that's why 2 is not the answer, 1 and 3 is the answer. Then about 18, to avoid confusion arising out of one case being said, okay, they are telling that Supreme Court of India is talking about if they are doing a if they are hearing a trial on one case, they'll tell that okay, in our previous judgment which we have pronounced on this day, they'll be referring to that case, and they are asking us if Supreme Court is referring to a previous case, what all details it will be mentioning. Okay, reference number of that case, year of judgment of that case, name of the court, maybe Allahabad court has given a verdict on this thing. Okay, they'll give the name of that court. Then they'll mention about the journal. Okay, in Supreme Court, every time they'll be publishing like in between, maybe in a month, maybe in a quarter, they'll be publishing their judgments taken like pronounced during this period. So that will be mentioned in that journal. So is there any statement which you feel like eliminating? How many of you got that question wrong? Okay, all you, like this is a kind of UPSC question. Like if there is no reason for telling one particular statement is wrong, you can approve. Okay, so all are true. 19, with reference to Mangrove Alliance for Climate. Okay, it is related to COP27. It is not creating any binding obligation. Normally, if you don't know, even if you don't know that question, I mean that statement, whether it is correct or not, normally binding obligation is related to something very serious. Something very serious like ozone depletion kind of thing, Montreal Protocol. Okay, so only such things will be binding. Even the Paris Agreement is not legally binding. Only some of the clauses are legally binding, not everything. So normally, very few treaties in the world are legally binding. For example, CITES, that Endangered Species Trade, CITES. The countries which are signing CITES, they are having legally binding obligation. Okay, because it is related to extinction of species. It is a very, very serious game, and only very few treaties are legally binding in that sense. Otherwise, some Mangrove Alliance for Climate, and we know that it is not a completely United Nations treaty. It is declared on COP27, but it is an alliance between a few countries only. Okay, so that's why these are not as serious as a global level treaties like CITES. CITES is a global level treaty advocated by United Nations, but this is not like that. So it does not create any binding obligation, that is true. Then third statement is a harmless statement. They are telling that for educating like about mangroves, they have created this thing. How many of you got this statement question wrong? COP26 nu vicharicho adondano. Okay, India as a partner ennolla sambhavam. Actually, India partner aano? India partner aanu. Appo founding member aano ennulladano samshayam vannu? Overthink ചെയ്തു. ഓക്കെ, ഫൗണ്ടിങ് മെമ്പർ എന്നുള്ള നിലയിൽ ചിന്തിച്ചു, അങ്ങനെയാണോ? ഓക്കെ, ഇത് ആരാണ് ഇത് കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്? ഇന്തോനേഷ്യ ആൻഡ് UAE. ഓക്കെ, നോർമലി ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിൽ ഇത് നിങ്ങൾ അറിയേണ്ട ഒരു ലോജിക്കാണ്. വെൻ യു ഡോണ്ട് ലൈക്ക് ലീഗലി ബൈൻഡിങ് ഒബ്ലിഗേഷൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ യൂണിവേഴ്സൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ എല്ലാ രാജ്യങ്ങളും നിർബന്ധമായിട്ട് ചെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ ലൈക്ക് ഗ്ലോബലി ഒരു പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടാവും എന്നുള്ള ഒരു കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് സാധനമാണ് നോർമലി ലീഗൽ ബൈൻഡിങ് ഒബ്ലിഗേഷൻ വരുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, അതൊന്ന്. രണ്ടാമത്തെ കാര്യം, ഇന്ത്യ എപ്പോഴും ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഇന്ത്യക്ക് പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ട് ബാധിക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾക്ക് മാത്രമായിരിക്കും. ഇന്ത്യക്ക് ഏതെങ്കിലും രീതിയിൽ ത്രെറ്റ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇന്ത്യക്ക് ഏതെങ്കിലും തരത്തിൽ ഇന്ത്യനെ ഏതെങ്കിലും തരത്തിൽ മോശമായിട്ട് ചെറുതായിട്ടെങ്കിലും ബാധിക്കുമെങ്കിൽ ഇന്ത്യ റിസ്ക് എടുക്കത്തില്ല. ഉദാഹരണം പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഗ്ലോബൽ മീഥെയിൻ പ്ലഡ്ജ്, ദേ ആർ ടെല്ലിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് വി ഷുഡ് നോട്ട് എമിറ്റ് മീഥെയിൻ ഫ്രം ഈവൻ അഗ്രികൾച്ചറൽ ലാൻഡ്സ്. It is not possible for India. Okay, we are having rice and wheat etc. as a stable crop, and majority of the South India is consuming rice, and normally we are doing a flooding cultivation. Okay, so it's not possible for us to cut methane emission now. So we will not, like in the recent future, we will not launch that, we will not be participating in that methane pledge. ഹിയർ മാംഗ്രൂവ് അലയൻസ്, മാംഗ്രൂവ്സിനെ കൺസേർവ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഒരു പോസിറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യമാണ് അല്ലേ, അതിൽ ഇന്ത്യക്ക് ഒരു റിസ്ക്കും ഇല്ല. ഇന്ത്യ അതർവൈസ് ഓൾസോ ഈസ് ഡൂയിങ് ദാറ്റ്. ഇൻ സച്ച് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് അലയൻസസ് നോർമലി even if we are not being compelled to participate, we'll tell them that okay, we'll also participate if it is a positive kind of thing. That's why even in the case of RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, okay, it's a trading alliance in the Southeast Asian part, but the issue is that there are many, if India is joining RCEP, the economy will be made completely open. The all products, the manufactured product from China, Indonesia and all other countries from Singapore will be flooding Indian markets. So it will be badly affecting the domestic businesses. So that's why India is not joining that area, that kind of thing. So just observe that if in a mangrove alliance, if India is becoming a partner, only positive things are there for India. That means it is most likely that India will be a partner. We know that India is having lots of mangroves even in Andaman, in West Bengal, in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, etc. So that you should think in that line. Don't be narrow minded when doing UPSC question. If there is a possibility for making that question as correct, you should go for that. India is having mangroves. If joining in a mangrove protection alliance, if India can get some funds, okay, for protecting our mangroves, India will join. There is nothing negative for India in joining that alliance. You have to think in that positive way. So always be open and narrow, like open minded, and keep yourself away from narrow mindedness. Normally in most of the questions you will be having many, you can like remove your confusions in UPSC question by thinking openly. If it is a possibility, you approve that. Okay, that's right. So all are correct. 20. It's about like places in news kind of thing. So Tripoli is in which country? Lebanon. Then which is the second? Actually only 2 pairs are correct. Abadan is in which country? Iraq. Iran. Then Calais is in which country? France. Third statement is correct. It's in the US only. Memphis. Actually these are related to oil ports kind of thing. So when there was COVID-19 and there was supply chain disruption, these areas were in news. We'll see in the places in news kind of discussion, we'll see such statements. So only 1 and 3 are correct. 21. Yeah. Consider the following statements. A defamation suit cannot be filed against a member of parliament. Okay. Actually the members of parliament or members of state legislature are having absolute protection against anything being said or done. So that's why defamation cannot be filed. Otherwise many of the parliamentarians would have lost their seat every time they are abusing others. Okay, so first statement is correct. This immunity extends to other people as well, like attorney general or any other minister. They may not be members in that particular house, but they can go and speak. At that time they are having this immunity. If they can sit in that particular house, if they can participate in the discussion, they will be having the same immunity. Otherwise they will be arrested. If they are telling something which is not being liked by others, they could be arrested. So that's why they are given that immunity. How many of you got that question wrong? No, nobody. Good. Then about expenditure method, product method and income method of GDP calculation. How many of you got this question wrong? Okay. ഒരു ഹോസ്റ്റൽ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഇതാക്കിയിരിക്കുകയാണല്ലോ. Expenditure method means what? Like what are we calculating in that? Actually we are spending something to produce something. Okay, we are spending something to produce something. Aggregate value of spending that firms receive. See, we are spending for making a production, we are spending something, and like we are creating a product. For example, a company manufacturing soap, it is spending like on the raw materials, it's spending on the factory and the machines and all, and it is creating some products. For creating that product, it is giving salary to people who is being employed and all, and it is purchasing machinery, and it is like while purchasing machinery from a factory, that factory owner is getting money, and this company who is manufacturing the soap is spending money for that machine. And when these people are getting money, okay, when the employee of this one particular company is getting salary, he will be purchasing the soap of this company. Okay, the aggregate value of spending that firms receive, like how can you connect that thing? Who can explain that statement? Simply, Aishwarya question ശരിയാക്കിയില്ലേ? എങ്ങനെയാണ് അത് ശരിയാക്കിയെന്ന് പറ. Okay. ഓക്കെ അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ. ഇപ്പോൾ ഉദാഹരണം പറഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ ആ GDP കാൽക്കുലേഷനിൽ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെൻറ്റ് എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ, ഓക്കെ, C+I+G+, അത് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നില്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ C എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ കൺസംഷൻ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ, ഓക്കെ, വി ആർ സ്പെൻഡിങ് സംതിങ്, ഐ എം ഹാവിങ് മണി ആൻഡ് ഐ എം സ്പെൻഡിങ് ഓൺ സംതിങ് ലൈക്ക് ഫോർ പർച്ചേസിങ് സംതിങ്. ദെൻ നമ്മൾ ഈ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന പൈസയൊക്കെ ഈ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന കമ്പനിക്കാണ് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ ഈ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെൻറ്റ് ലൈക്ക് നമ്മുടെ കൺസംഷൻ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന പൈസ, ഞാനൊരു സോപ്പ് വാങ്ങുമ്പോൾ ഇത് എന്താണ് ലൈക്ക് എന്താ പറയുക, ഈ സോപ്പ് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ കമ്പനിക്കാണ് ഈ പൈസ കിട്ടുന്നത്. ദ എമൗണ്ട് ദാറ്റ് എ കൺസ്യൂമർ ഈസ് സ്പെൻഡിങ് ഈസ് ബീങ് റിസീവ്ഡ് ബൈ ദ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസർ, ഓക്കെ, കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് തിങ്. സോ അങ്ങനെയാണ് എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ മെത്തേഡ്, ലൈക്ക് അഗ്രിഗേറ്റ് വാല്യൂ ഓഫ് സ്പെൻഡിങ് ദാറ്റ് ദ ഫേംസ് റിസീവ്. ദെൻ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് മെത്തേഡ്, അഗ്രിഗേറ്റ് വാല്യൂ ഓഫ് ഗുഡ്സ് ആൻഡ് സർവീസസ് പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ്, സിമ്പിൾ. Income method, sum of all factor payment, the salary kind of thing that the employees are receiving. So that's why income method is true. So 1, 2 and 3 are correct. These are basics of economy. You should know the definitions of each of the methods of GDP calculation. 23, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Okay, how many of you got doubt in the first statement? Why? What was the doubt? അങ്ങനെ വിചാരിക്കാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കാരണമുണ്ടോ? ലൈക്ക് അതാണ് അതെന്താണെന്ന് അറിയോ, നമ്മൾ ഈ ലൈക്ക് അതാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു, അതാണോ എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അപ്പോൾ 3 years ആണോ എന്ന് ഉറപ്പില്ല, 5 years ആണോ എന്ന് ഉറപ്പില്ല അല്ലേ. പക്ഷേ 5 years ആവാനുള്ള സാധ്യതയുണ്ട്. നോർമലി മിക്ക കോൺട്രാക്റ്റും 5 yearsനാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ റിന്യൂവൽസ് വരുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് ഉറപ്പില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡോണ്ട് ഗെറ്റ് കൺഫ്യൂസ്ഡ്. ഇത് എന്താണ്, നമ്മൾ ബുക്കിലേക്ക് തിരിച്ചു പോകരുത്, നമ്മളുടെ മനസ്സ് അവിടെ നിൽക്കണം. ഓക്കെ, we should have that solid mindset. Okay, I am having a doubt whether it is 3 year or not, but I am not very sure. Okay, so whether you are going for 3 years or 5 years, both are risk. Okay, then normally understand that നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾക്ക് ചില കൺവെൻഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ വെദർ ഇന്ത്യ ഈസ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് എ ബ്ലോക്ക് മീൻസ് നമ്മൾ അറിയേണ്ട ഒരു ബേസിക് കൺവെൻഷൻ, നമുക്ക് ഒന്നും അറിയത്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ അറിയേണ്ടത് ഇന്ത്യക്ക് ഒരു രീതിയിലും ഹാം ഉണ്ടാവാത്ത ഒരു സാധനമാണെങ്കിൽ, ഇന്ത്യക്ക് പോസിറ്റീവ്സ് മാത്രം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇന്ത്യ അതിൽ മെമ്പർ ആവാൻ സാധ്യതയുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ 5 years എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് തെറ്റാണെന്ന് പറയാൻ നമുക്ക് സോളിഡ് ആയിട്ടൊരു റീസൺ ഇല്ല. 3 years ആവാതിരിക്കാം, ഉറപ്പില്ല, ബട്ട് 5 years ആവാൻ പോസിബിലിറ്റി ഉണ്ട്. നോർമലി പല കോൺട്രാക്റ്റും 5 years ആണ്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ നമ്മളെ ട്രാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് അവർ കൊടുത്തതെന്ന് അങ്ങനെ ചിന്തിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഓവർ തിങ്കിങ് ആണ്. ഓക്കെ, അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്, കുറച്ച് ഓപ്പൺ മൈൻഡഡ് ആവണം നമ്മൾ എക്സ്ട്രാ കോഷ്യസ് ആവരുത് പലപ്പോഴും. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമുക്ക് ഇഫ് യു ആർ ഹാവിങ് എ സോളിഡ് റീസൺ, ഓക്കെ, ഐ ഹാവ് റെഡ് ദിസ്, ഐ എം വെരി ഷുവർ ദാറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് 3 years, ആ സമയത്ത് നമുക്ക് ഡൗട്ട് പോലും ഉണ്ടാവില്ല, നമുക്ക് ഒറ്റയടിക്ക് മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ബട്ട് നമുക്ക് ആലോചിക്കേണ്ടി വന്നാൽ ഇതിങ്ങനെയാണോ എന്ന് ഡൗട്ട് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ ഈ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പറിൽ പറയുന്ന അപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ് പലപ്പോഴും സേഫ്. ഓക്കെ, ബിക്കോസ് അത് ബ്ലൈൻഡ്ലി ചെയ്യാനല്ല, 5 years ആണെന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് ലൈക്ക് അത് തെറ്റാണെന്ന് പറയാൻ ഒരു റീസണും നമുക്കില്ല. ആകെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം വന്നെന്താണ്, ഇത് നമ്മൾ എവിടെയോ വായിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെന്നുള്ളൊരു തോന്നൽ മാത്രമാണ്, അതിൻ്റെ പുറകെ ഒരിക്കലും പോകരുത്. ഓക്കെ, ദെൻ സെക്കൻഡ്, വൺസ് രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ഓഫ് ആൻ NGO അണ്ടർ FCRA is cancelled, it is not eligible for foreign as well as domestic funds. അങ്ങനെ പറയേണ്ട കാര്യമുണ്ടോ? FCRA ഫോറിൻ കോൺട്രിബ്യൂഷൻ ആണ്, ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക്കലി അവർക്ക് അത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അതിനകത്തൊരു കാര്യം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇപ്പോൾ അവരുടെ FCRA രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ ക്യാൻസൽ ആയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നോർമലി 3 വർഷത്തേക്ക് ദേ കനോട്ട് അക്സെപ്റ്റ്, അതൊരു അഡീഷണൽ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ അറിഞ്ഞാൽ മതി, 3 വർഷത്തേക്ക് ദേ കനോട്ട് അക്സെപ്റ്റ് ഫോറിൻ കോൺട്രിബ്യൂഷൻ. ആഫ്റ്റർ ദാറ്റ് വാട്ട് ദേ ഹാവ് ടു ഡു ഈസ് ദേ ഹാവ് ടു റിന്യൂ ദ രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻ. Okay, they have to apply for a new license, then only they will be able to do. But even in that time, they can operate in the domestic funds. Then, under the FCRA rules, individuals are not allowed to accept foreign funds. No, actually individuals, companies, trust, everybody can, if they are getting the license, they can like collect the foreign funds. So 2 and 3 are wrong, 1 is correct. With reference to quantitative easing, yeah, this I need to know. How many people got this question wrong? ഓക്കെ, വിപിൻ ശരിയാക്കിയ ലോജിക്ക് എന്താണ്? അറ്റംപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തില്ല. ഐശ്വര്യ എന്താണത്? അത് എവിടെയാണ് തെറ്റിച്ചത്? എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് തെറ്റിച്ചത് ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻ്റ് ആണോ? ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റേറ്റീവ് ഈസിങ് ഇത് ലൈക്ക് ഇത് തെറ്റുന്നത് ഭയങ്കര നോർമലാണ്. കാര്യം എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നോർമലി ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റേറ്റീവ് ഈസിങ്ങിനെ കുറിച്ച് നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് പറയാറില്ല. വെൻ വി സേ അബൌട്ട് ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റേറ്റീവ് ഈസിങ്, in the normal discussion we say that it is about interest rate hike in the US. So that's why all FDI or FII will be removed from Indian economy and they will be depositing in US banks. Only this is being said. Actually, it is not directly increasing a repo rate of US economy. What they are doing is that they are not directly increasing the interest rate or decreasing the interest rate. What they are doing is they want to pump money into the economy. Okay, maybe it is a recession, so they want people to do more transactions and they want people's hand should be full of money, so they want to pump money into the market. For that, what they are doing is they will be purchasing the government securities that are available with the banks. Okay, just like our banks, if they want to take a loan from RBI at a repo rate, they will be submitting the collateral as government security. They are having government security, they will be giving this to RBI and RBI will be giving them loan at a repo rate. Okay, then if the loan is given for maybe 3 months, at the end of 3 months, these banks will be repurchasing that security. That's why it's called repo. Okay, repurchase agreement. So now they are getting a loan from RBI by giving the securities, government securities as collateral at an agreement that at the end of 3 months I will be repurchasing this thing back. So just like that, in the US economy, if they want to pump money into the economy, what they are doing is that they will ask the banks in the US economy, the central bank of USA will be asking the banks that, okay, I will give you the money, give me the securities, government securities as collateral. Okay, so this is the way. So at that time what will happen? Okay, banks will be giving them the security, the collaterals, and the US Federal Reserve will be giving them money. So it's about an exchange of these government securities, asset. So that's why, that is the correct thing about quantitative easing. Then they are telling that it is specifically lowering of interest rate by central bank of a country. How many of you have approved that statement as correct? Okay, so normally it is not specifically lowering the interest rate by central bank of a country, but it is just an outcome of that. Normally, if they are giving money to the banks by purchasing the securities, banks will be having money. Okay, banks will be having lot of money. So at that time, normally the interest rate will decrease. It is not that government or Reserve Bank of USA, that is Federal Reserve, is decreasing the interest rate. They are just buying the securities from the banks. As an outcome of that, bank will be having money, so that's why they will decrease the interest rate, because they are having lot of money. So it is not specifically lowering done by central bank. So that's why 2 is wrong. And third statement is correct. Definitely it is for increasing the money supply to banks. 25.